Hello students, this is Suraj Rasa here. In previous sessions, we have already seen how you should write the answers for the respective questions. Also, I had uploaded some important questions and some questions from the previous university examinations, okay, which has been asked in mobile computing course, your end semester exam. So from today onwards, okay, we will have again just a brief theory about some units. That is, like third unit. Okay, almost I'll try to finish the telecommunication architectures like GSM, GPRS, UMTS, 3G, 4G, and so on. And so in today's session, okay, first of all I'll try to explain you what is GSM, because which is used in all architectures. It might be GPRS, it might be UMTS or 3G or 4G and so on. Okay, so I hope that you will understand it in a better way. And what is the role of GSM is also very important. Okay, like day to day life we are using same thing for call, and based on the technology upgrade, that is based on the updation in technologies, how does this GSM is also adapted itself, like using GSM nowadays we can in previous days, that is in traditional days, using this GSM only, the user was able to make audio call only, and nowadays through using same technology the user is able to make video call also. So we will understand little bit the differences between the traditional telecommunication technologies, that is GPRS or 3G, and the current technologies used, that is 4G and so on. Okay, so for this purpose you can refer this PDF. Okay, I have made one PDF, okay, which includes all major points required to understand the mobile telecommunication technologies. Okay, and those components are defined in such a way that, okay, like first if you consider this PDF file, okay, like here till operational maintenance centers, okay, all those components are used for GSM only. Okay, then including above and say GPRS, SGSN and GGSN, okay, those components are used for 3G, then including above, and then say the remaining all are used in 4G and so on. Okay, so almost how does the GSM, that is GPRS including GSM, is upgraded to 3G, and how does the 4G is upgraded from 3G including GSM. Okay, so you will definitely understand. And obviously, of course, in day-to-day life we are using internet, so you should have idea about it. That is how does the mobile telecommunication network works. That is how does the mobile telecommunication technology supports to to process your data and to make communication between two end users. Okay, so let's start with first of all GSM, okay, which is in a collaboration with GPRS. It is used in collaboration with 3G, it is used, okay, and 4G purely supports packet data network. So I'll let you know further the rest of the things also. Because what I thought, since we have a lot of time to discuss about such kind of technology, so what I thought, why should not make some video session for such a kind of architectures. Okay, so let's begin with first of all GSM architecture. Okay, so basically it is nothing but a global system for mobile communications. Very simple thing. Okay, now let's start with GSM, and obviously to know how does the GSM works, okay, you should know what is PSTN, that is public switched telephone network, and what is integrated service digital network, ISDN. Okay, I'll come to those points. Okay, and we it's not like you have already learned those telecommunication, that is how does the PSTN works or how does the ISDN works, what are they, you have already learned while learning computer network subject, but still I'll try to repeat a few points related to those sub points. Okay, and last one is this data network, basically how does the data is shared through this kind of thing and so on. So okay, let's begin with the global system for mobile communication. Okay, so just remember one thing. Okay, the GSM architecture. Okay, if you try to go through the standard references available, the GSM architecture for GPRS is different, the GSM architecture for 3G is different, and the GSM architecture for 4G is different, but still I'll try to explain its working with respect to the 4G only. Remember this thing, very important. Okay, so even though you might be observed some GSM architectures, okay, related to the GPRS, related to the 3G. Okay, so what I thought is you should know the current GSM architecture used. Okay, so that it will be better to understand the rest of the architectures also. So let's start with the GSM architecture. Okay, which is also even though very simple thing. Okay, in day-to-day life we are using same thing. So in previous sessions also I had tried to explain you the mobile network working in a such a way that you will understand how does your mobile network works and how does it differs from your stable network. Okay, so consider, say this is your mobile device, okay, which is in short in terms of GSM architecture it is called as mobile station. Okay, now obviously same thing you should remember. Okay, that is while transferring the data, okay, it has to pass through all steps. Okay, now just wait for a moment, let me draw first of all the diagram and then I'll start explaining it. Okay, so this is general architecture. Okay, in little bit in more depth we will try to see what is GSM, but this is just overall introduction about how does the GSM works. Okay, so basically the GSM and GPRS are a part of internet service provider. Okay, so in short, this if you see GPRS architecture, okay, that is your next term. This GPRS architecture, okay, that is general packet radio service. So basically it includes GSM itself, and GSM is half part of that GPRS architecture. So that's why you should know GSM architecture. In fact, if you see instead of GPRS 3G or 4G, in short this GSMS is connected to the 4G. Okay, so this is just a general architecture. So before starting with the rest of the part, okay, let's start with first of all how should this mobile device will have connectivity through this ISP. Okay, so we have already learned that first thing is a very simple example you can consider, like first of all this mobile device is turned on. So first of all the connection request will be delivered. Okay, the connection request will be delivered to the internet service provider through this BTS, that is base transceiver system. Okay, so the connection request will be delivered through BTS to the internet service provider, and next thing we are already seen that after verifying all details, the this ISP will reply to the requested user that yes, right now you can have connection through my network and all your details are verified. So this is in general statement, and while delivering this request also we are already seen which kind of parameters are used, which are nothing but in short your SIM card, that is subscriber identity number, your 10-digit mobile number. Okay, that is this is in short your 10-digit mobile number. Okay, so what is MS ISDN also we already learned. Then IMEI, it is in short the hardware component details, that is whatever be unique ID is given to this mobile device, so basically it will be used. So those parameters, okay, till now we already seen that while delivering connection request, how does those parameters are used. I am not going to repeat now what is this same, what is MS ISDN, what is IMEI. We already seen those parameters, how it is used. And even though we already learned that even though while how does the registration takes place, that is first of all the agent discovery is done. Okay, so the agent might be either a home agent or the agents might be the foreign agent also. So we already known to those terms, okay, which are very simple terms. In fact, in previous sessions I have already explained you those terms. So in discovery, basically agent discovery is done. Okay, agents, the ISP is going to assign those agents, and agents might be home agent or foreign agent too. Okay, and after that the registration takes place. Okay, after verifying all details from the end user, that is from end user and ISP. And next part we already seen that how does the tunneling is happen, that is when you can see this as when the secure connection is established between internet service provider and the mobile user. So you can consider its name as right now mobile station. For understanding purpose, this mobile device is considered as mobile station. So when the secure connection is established between the mobile station or your mobile device and internet service provider, the rest of the data will be exchanged through tunneling. And what is tunneling and all we already learned. Even though in more depth also we already learned which kind of packet is used, what is the structure of the network packet used, and what are those components used to exchange the information. Okay, which is very important thing, and you should go through the structure of that network packet also during our normal academic days. I have already covered this section. So this is a general the brief introduction, how does the communication or the registration is happen, what are the parameters used. Okay, very very important thing, don't neglect it. You should mention at least some points from those points within the, if the question is asked like explain the GSM architecture, or the question is asked what is explain the GPRS architecture too. So you should explain those parameters at least, then you should explain those parameters, those points again. Okay, you should at least mention the agents related information, and how does then the tunneling is used. Okay, at least 4 to 5 lines or so, at least you should mention single paragraph about this information. So this thing we have already learned in more depth in previous sessions. Okay, now let's focus with this GSM. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that what is this GSM is and where it actually occurs within the ISP's region, and how does it is used in telecommunication system. Okay, and obviously further this ISP is connected to the public networks. Okay, public networks can be your PSDN, or it may include ISDN, or it may include your data networks also. I'll come to that point. Okay, so just I thought that first of all it would be better to remind those points. Okay, so I hope you have understood about the initial points related to the GSM. Just wait for a moment. Okay, let me draw the GSM architectures diagram so that it would be convenient for me also to explain how does GSM works in actual manner. Okay, but those points you should remember. So don't forget to mention at least some theory related to those points. Just wait for a moment. Let me draw first of all the architecture related to this thing. Okay, so this is GSM architecture. Okay, so I have replaced the GSM part with the actual architecture of GSM. Okay, and below here the your GPS architecture will come further through. So mostly I'll try to continue with the same architecture. Okay, that is I'll try to continue with GPRS including GSM. Okay, so this part is by default it will be available within GPRS architecture also. So here the rest of the things will be similar, like what should be the parameters that should be passed while having network access to that particular mobile device. So in this case we will call this device as a mobile station. Okay, and the next one, that is your actual wireless station, is nothing but base transceiver system. Okay, and which is further connected to the GSM architecture, that is in short through BSC, that is base controller system. Okay, so if you go through this PDF again, okay, it includes all components included in GSM or GPRS architecture. Okay, so as I have taught you already, that is what is PSTN and what is ISDN, just try to remind it. Okay, and rest of the things now let's see. So first of all, the request will be delivered, okay, which will be completed through those steps as I had mentioned earlier. Okay, and based on that, this device will have network access, and in short, through tunneling the actual information will be exchanged. Okay, so this is how the mobile station will have the actual network access or network connectivity. So here, okay, if you see, after BTS the BSC comes first of all. Okay, now what is the role of BSC? So basically BSC manages n number of BTSs, that is base transceiver system, or in short you can said to be as, you can call it as in short wireless station. So as while learning the introduction to mobile network also, okay, I have already explained you that it's not necessary that a particular region, okay, is connected to the single wireless station. Okay, it may include a set of wireless stations also. Okay, so all those wireless stations, okay, will be managed by this BSC, that is base transceiver system, and those those BTSs are in short connected to those BSCs. Okay, so this is the role of BSC in short, and it processes the data to the MSC further. Okay, so right now suppose this mobile station is in range with this BTS. So in this manner I hope you have understood the role of this BSC who manages multiple BTSs. Okay, so I'm just removing all those another BTSs. So right now you can see that this mobile station is in a range with this BTS, so accordingly this BTS will receive the information and it will try to deliver to it to the BSC. Okay, now almost the BTS has a set of configurations, like how much bandwidth it supports, how much bandwidth it generates based on the frequency value of received the received frequency values from that end users and so on. So this is the hardware part, little bit this here is related to the hardware thing. So this is how the BSC basically manages the multiple BTSs. Okay, so when again this information will be received by this BSC, it will be delivered further to the MSC. Okay, so the MSC's role is in short, okay, it is based on the type of request which is delivered. For example, when the first time this mobile station is going to deliver the connection request through BTS to the BSC basically, so when MSC will receive this information, it will automatically understand that since this is the connection request, okay, so immediately this request will be forwarded to the AUC basically. Okay, so now what is the role of AUC? AUC is nothing but your authentication center. Okay, you can see, you can go through this file. Okay, so basically this AUC is authentication center. So as I have already told you that which kind of parameters will be passed So based on all those parameters, it might be subscriber identity module, it might be mobile subscriber, international, this MSISDN and so on. Okay, so including a sort of information, okay, which we have already seen. So it might be subscriber identity module, it might be mobile station, international subscriber directory number, or it might be international mobile equipment identity. So clubbed this information, it will be passed already to the MSC. So MSC will try to segregate the information. Okay, so first of all, the SIM and MSISDN based information will be received by this authentication center. So this authentication center will try to go through the SIM and MSISDN based information. So it will understand that yes, this user is registered within our network. Okay, so remember, we are looking at internet service provider, that is, this is in short ISP's office, where GSM is one part of its architecture. Okay, so when this SIM and MSISDN based information will be authenticated by this authentication center, okay, it will deliver the same information to the MSC. Now MSC will again divert the respective information to the EIR, that is equipment identity registered. Okay, where after having authentication, this IMEI details will be stored here in equipment identity register. So this is nothing but the role of EIR. So in short, it is going to store the device information. Okay, this is not just one role of this EIR. So basically this EIR is going to manage the mobile stations, that is in short networking devices also. Very simple example. Okay, when this IMEI or the sort of hardware based information will be received by this EIR, it will understand whether this device supports 3G, 4G, or it only supports a plain GPRS internet and so on. So based on this EIR's report, the ISP basically will understand that which kind of technology is being supported by this particular device. So which is in fact very important thing. So based on that only this GSM will behave accordingly. And obviously in AUC, as I told you, okay, it is going to verify the user details based on CMI and MSISDN. Okay. Now after storing this details into EIR, this MSC again it will be acknowledged about the same, and based on that this MSC MSC will divert this information to the HLR, that is home location registry. Okay, to know what is the current location, who is the user is, all user details. Okay, so don't go through its full form, that is home location registry. It doesn't mean like it only stores the user's location only. Okay, it's not like so. Okay, it will try to manage all user details, including user registration details, all user related details, what is the current status of user and so on. So this is the role of HLR in this case. And after having after passing through those steps, okay, then only the user will be connected to the network and user will have the network access. Okay, so that is after having registration process only, as we already learned that the user will be connected to the ISP, and then smoothly the user will have access to the network and the user is able to access the services mentioned within the ISP services. Okay, so I hope you have understood the meaning of the roles of the EIR, AUC, MSC, HLR at least. Okay, so again try to remind few points. Okay, let me clear first of all those notations here, and then again I'll start with the same session. Okay, so now I have cleared all notations. So okay, again let's start understanding how does it work. So basically, now suppose this mobile station or mobile device is turned on. Okay, so a sort of connection request will be delivered through this nearest wireless station. In short,